Hey, Nathan here. I'm speaking to you from Cholula, near Puebla, Mexico. But what on earth am I doing here? Well, I don't want to leave you in the dark, and I think you might be interested to hear what is happening. So let me take a moment to tell you the whys and the whats of this whole Mexico business. So, why all the travelling? England, Switzerland, Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Korea. I have had the privilege of living, working and travelling to these countries, barring Korea, through my work with Wycliffe Bible Translators, directly or indirectly, thanks to generous supporters who believe in the Great Commission. During this time, between 2004 and 2012, I knew that my calling lay elsewhere, in thoroughly Christian education. Now, I took steps to prepare myself. I read on the issue. I attended training with Accelerated Christian Education in England. I made inquiries about openings in Christian schools in the British Isles and further afield. I studied theological education at Belfast Bible College. I even wrote my thesis and a short book, Kindle version coming soon, on the issue. I knew, however, that I must be involved day to day with classroom teaching in a school that honours Christ as the only true key to all knowledge and wisdom in every subject. 16 months in Korea gave me teaching experience, but as good as it was not a thoroughly Christian school. In fact, unless God's name and His law word are the foundation in classroom and textbook and teacher training alike, the child is robbed of the true wisdom and knowledge, and God is robbed of His rightful place. But why Mexico, and why now? There were several factors which prompted me to leave Korea and go to Mexico. New school policies led me to terminate my contract, freeing me to work elsewhere. I was looking for people to interview for my YouTube channel and, on a friend's advice, got in touch with Roger Oliver, former seminary director and current director of Puebla Christian Learning Center and vision-mexico.com. We talked and found we shared a common passion for the Lordship of Christ in learning and teaching, and further, we found we had a common view that Christian education was an integral part of the Great Commission to disciple the nations and to teach them to obey all things that Christ had commanded. Also, I was interviewing Mr. Aaron Slack, a director at Grace Community Schools, Florida, about his new book, A Full Reward. He said something which struck me. If you can't make a living in your calling, then perhaps it's not your calling. Now, this is an unpaid position I'm taking, but his words encouraged me, nevertheless, to embrace my calling rather than almost embracing it, kind of, and to work towards becoming self-financing in this capacity. Lastly, the words of the Reverend Mike O'Donovan in his sermon, Provision Follows Purpose, sealed the deal. When you have a calling and an open door and God gives you grace to go through, it would be sin and self-torture not to. So what? Well, I want to share the journey with you as I learn what it means, in practical terms, to put Christ at the centre of learning and teaching, and to engage in the Great Commission work of teaching the nations to obey God's commandments, particularly in this, a relatively less developed nation. I want you to be blessed with an expanded view of God and of His work in the world, and give you an opportunity to invest in the advancement of His kingdom.